Good morning, everybody. It's a while since I've done a live video of me. You'll know I've been doing my Pat's Pup Park Poodles to inspire and uplift you. Nature's absolutely wonderful for that. But I thought today I would come back in person because this is the day, the 20th of May, when we celebrated, along with family, I celebrated the life of my gorgeous son, Bruce. So it's a difficult time of year for me. May is difficult because I lost him on the 5th of May, and of course we celebrated his life and said goodbye to him on the 20th of May. So it's a challenging time of year for me. I know it'll be a challenging time of year for many people. And of course, for me to say, oh, you have to think of positive things all the time, and that's just so difficult to say. You should be positive, have positive, think of positive things, have positive feelings. Over the last 2 years, of course, negative feelings and thoughts have caught up with many of us, and I've had to use my ABC techniques more than ever. And of course, another technique I use is red door, blue door, particularly if you're speaking and you want to not fall apart. It's just taking focus off any sadness and emotions and allow you to talk at that moment in time. I will be doing these, I've done these exercises, and of course they're included in my books. I want you to know, though, that although this is a difficult emotional topic, sharing is caring and helps healing. I shared my loss in my book, The Weight of Emptiness, Comfort and Hope for the Loss of a Loved One, and I'm proud to say that it's on the finalist list of books. It's the International Book Competition. And I think the results are going to be given out in September. Writing this book was, of course, therapeutic, and I was honoured to have people who lost a loved one share their stories, and they told me that this was therapeutic as well. Now, that's why I always recommend journaling, like have a diary, have a journal, something there when you can write down your thoughts and feelings. Happy, sad ones, it doesn't matter, and it's private for you. Hi, Nikki, good to see you there. Like the words of Laura Ding Edwards, I like her words, if the mountains seem too big to climb, then climb a hill instead. If the morning brings you sadness, it's okay. Stay in bed. If the day ahead weighs heavy and your plans feel like a curse, there's no shame in rearranging. Don't make yourself feel worse. It's a lovely poem. You can watch and listen, of course, to my other videos on my YouTube channel, and all I ask, please, is if you can subscribe. I'm trying to increase my subscribers, and to subscribe is free. Now, topics in my live videos, they vary, but the common theme is always about bringing as much positivity into your life as possible. And if you look at my Pat's Pup Park Poodles, then I am walking in nature, and of course nature is so invigorating, inspiring, and you get a new perspective on everything. Believe me, you can change your negative thoughts into positive ones. And of course, it's all about the power of the mind. And here are some tips. As soon as negative thoughts come invade your mind, then change your mindset. Find an optimistic view of the situation. I know it's not easy, but anything worthwhile takes hard work. Remember, you can't control everything. It's all about controlling how you react to situations and people. Declutter. Get rid of negative things and people in your life. Now, I know if you can't get rid of negative people, and I talked about this through the pandemic when I did my regular daily videos, I talked about people were living in terrible situations, and I used to say, take yourself off to the little room, toilet, or just somewhere quiet, and just do my ABC and kind of let all these negative people not invade your mind. Slow down. Use my B. That's the deep breathing from the diaphragm. You can also, I mean, if when you focus on your breathing, that really slows you down. You can't think of anything else. And I remember, I don't think I followed it, but I used to be told, take 40 chews to each bite. So you can actually even slow down your eating. We all are in a frenzied world, and it's kind of chomp through your food quickly and get on with things. Well, try and slow down. And of course, walk slowly. Try and get out into nature and walk slowly. I mean, I told a story the other day that in one of my park pootles, I went with my daughter, and my goodness, that was like power walking round the park. It was lovely, but I like to just dawdle. Pootling is dawdling, just taking time to take in nature all around you. You're aware of everything around you. And when you do this, your mind and your body calm down. Don't catastrophize. Don't make mountains out of molehills. And I know this is difficult because all we hear about are crisis. It's all bad news in the media. And we start thinking, oh, what if, what if, what if? And that, of course, just stresses you. I've got an itchy nose. I'm going to be angry, they say. I think it's just my hair. So don't use this what if, what if. It just stresses you out and you lose focus. And this is again when you need my ABC. A could be, that's your affirmation. Say to yourself, stop. I stop. Be still. Just words like that. And of course, be the breathing. Try and, if you're standing or sitting, it doesn't matter, but try and sit with your straight back and stand up kind of tall, as if you've got a string kind of holding your head up. And it's from the diaphragm. Breathe in through the nose, maybe to the count of 3, hold for the count of 3, and then exhale through your mouth to the count of 3. You can do it more, but try to the count of 3. And C, that's your creative imagination. Use that and imagine yourself in your happy or safe place. And of course, you can watch lots of my videos, and during the pandemic and every day I was doing my Mind Bites meditations, mindfulness meditations. Have your achievement board there. Look at your achievement board just to remind yourself how awesome you are. We need that. How many times do people ever say to you, oh, you're awesome? I mean, I'm sitting just now and I got a lovely card from someone and it's on my desk. It's just above the computer and it says, you're absolutely magical. So you've got to say that to yourself. That was lovely. It came from someone else. And of course, also be kind to yourself and others. You feel better. Don't let fear hold you back from what you want to achieve. Start something new. Even something small. It doesn't have to be big. And of course, one of the things is if you're not already doing them, start my ABC. Make this your new habit. Remember, creativity builds resilience, and we need resilience. And with courage, you can endure each day in a different way. Start your day in a positive mood. I know that's difficult, but if you get up in the morning, I mean, I know so many people say, oh, I don't want to get up this morning. Oh, I don't want to. Just turn that around. And again, this is where I use my ABC. I know it's challenging, but always try to do this in the morning. And sometimes we don't want to get up. Sometimes we don't want to do anything. But if you're not going to rush around doing things if you don't feel like it. But if you can actually say, do you know what? I feel good. It just makes you feel better. Grief, of course. Grief's like a weight. That's why I called the book The Weight of Emptiness. And that was thanks to a lovely friend, Zina von Rollick. I mean, the title is just amazing. Grief's like a weight because it's different for everybody. And it's different even every minute, every second of every day. And grief affects everyone who has lost a loved one. I wrote a blog, and I think you can find it on my website. This blog was about loss and grief and the stages of grief. And of course, it was interesting that when I lost my son, I realised that these stages don't happen in the way they're written about. They're often not sequentially, and they can be all in one day, just all happening at once. So just to remind yourself that you can read about things, but theory is often different from reality. Now, today I don't want to dwell on sadness and pain of losing a loved one. I'm doing this video hopefully to bring comfort and hope to many who've lost a loved one, no matter when or how. Do you remember when we're told during the pandemic, oh, we're all in the same boat? Well, I'm sorry, that is not true. We're not all in the same boat. We're all in very different boats, and even in each different boat, we all experience things differently. And that is so true about grief. I remember my son's last words to me, and it's heartrending to think about it, but he said on the phone, "Don't worry, Mum, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out." And I know he wanted me to succeed, especially with my Mind Circles work, and he would want everything to be wonderful. Now, although I talk about being positive, you've also got to let yourself cry. I'm going to actually just give, I don't know what it means, but I'm going to give a wee wave to Nikki, nice to see you, and Alan, good to see you there. So although I talk about being positive, you must allow yourself to cry. There is no shame in crying. Grieving takes time, and in fact it never ends. It will be different for each individual, but there are coping strategies which help, and I included these in my book, and I talk about them in my live videos. One I know is important, and it's certainly important to me, is to talk about your loved one and your feelings. I know that's difficult. It's very sad when I listen to people saying, I've been told I can never talk about the loss of my wife or the loss of my son. Why not? You know, and I know that sometimes people don't know what to say to you, but I still do it. And even shortly after I lost him, you could see people are at a loss for words. And lots of them, when they say, oh, you'll be okay in time, all these, they're trying to be positive. They're not trying to hurt you. But I would actually start the conversation by saying, it's okay to talk about Bruce. And I would mention his name. Remember, there is no end to grief. It just doesn't suddenly stop. And of course, you shouldn't and don't ever forget your loved one. I remember my son every day, every minute, every second of every day. But I want to honour his life by living life in the way he would want me to. Another excellent tip, of course, which costs you nothing, is to take a walk in nature. Just be aware of everything round about you. Nature is amazing, and you get a different perspective on everything. And of course, my ABC, they are proven psychological techniques for they reduce anxiety, reduce stress, and they improve your emotional, your psychological, your mental, and your physical and overall well-being. So why not use them? I know people think, oh, well, they're sort of too easy to be proven psychologically to, you know, to be effective, but they are. And I don't like to think of myself ever as a victim or survivor. I don't like these words. When I gave a talk in Australia, I read about, in fact, I wasn't able to meet her, but I read about an Australian journalist who'd interviewed people who'd lost loved ones and been through traumatic experiences. And the word she liked from all of them was endure. So I prefer to think of myself as enduring each day in a different, even positive way. Keep your loved one alive through memories. Honour them as I do my son. I remember all the wonderful things about him, and that would take another, endless videos to talk about them. And always remember that your loved one is in your heart and soul forever. So today, my ABC for me or anybody who's feeling this way, I would say, I know my affirmation would be, I know my loved one is in my heart and soul forever. The B, of course, is your breathing. I've talked about that earlier in the video. Remember, try and sit comfortably somewhere and just pull your shoulders back, not tight. You just want to be, it's a relaxed kind of confident pose, and as if there's a string holding your head up to the ceiling. And of course, your chest shouldn't be going up and down. It's from the diaphragm. Don't do anything else. Focus on your breathing. and take the deep breath in through your nose, hold, and then exhale through your mouth. And try and do it to the count of 3. And of course, when you do this, you can't focus on anything else. And it's got this dual aspect. It calms, but it also energizes you. And actually, it improves your immune system. And with all these viruses about, what more do we want? So you need to practice this deep breathing. And then C. C is for using your creative imagination. So stop. Take a couple of minutes to breathe, close your eyes, and just remember your loved one. Remember their face, their laughter, all those wonderful things about them. And I'm going to be needing to use my red door, blue door now, or I would fall about crying. I can cry later. Don't want to fall about in the video. So in my beautiful son's words, he said, in fact, he left a lovely letter for me, which I know helped me, and lots of people don't get this. But he said he was trapped in another character. And I know what he meant. He was an overthinker, highly creative and incredibly sensitive. And when you've got an overactive mind, it can work in your favour, but also it can work against you because you're so incredibly aware of everything around you. You feel everything more keenly, more intensely, and you go from these highly elated feelings to feeling down, feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. Some people manage their emotions when they feel like this, but there are so many others find it's just too difficult, impossible, and Bruce was the latter. He was always bringing me ideas about how to cope, how you would reduce stress, anxiety. He was an avid reader, and he would bring me lots of things that I could include in my Mind Circles products and services, and especially my ABC. He used to tell me about this, but of course I hoped he would use them to help reduce his feelings of intensity and being overwhelmed. But this was just not to be. I think when he got so overwhelmed, I mean, like me, my head's so full of ideas, and more often than not, he couldn't do what I do. He couldn't compartmentalise, and it all became too much for him. This is just a snapshot of my son, but I focus on the fact he's now out of mental pain and anguish and can see clearly now. Just taking a deep breath myself. And at the celebration of his life, we played the song by Johnny Nash, I Can See Clearly Now. The rain has gone. All the bad feelings have disappeared. It's very difficult to see, and I'm trying to do my red door, blue door. Just focus on breathing. When you experience the loss of a loved one, you'll always have dark times and times when you're emotionally overwhelmed, and you must let the tears fall. And I can do this later. And when you let the tears fall, let them fall to you. There's no more tears left. The pain of grief has no time limit. But if you can, use my ABC. You can find more courage and resilience than you would believe possible, and live the way your loved one would want to. And more than that, when you do this, you're honouring your loved one. And always remember my 2 trademark tips: smile and laugh. They cost you nothing. And smile and laugh when you think of your loved one. Send them hugs. Talk to them. I talk to Bruce every day. Don't let anyone tell you what to do. I had a friend who talked to his loved one, and his family didn't seem to understand, and he said to me, they think I'm going mad. I said, no. I said, you do what you feel's good for you. And of course, sometimes that's when, you've got to be careful when you say these to people, or some people might think, oh, they're going off their head. But you do what you want to. And in the quiet of your own home, or in a peaceful moment for yourself, like when I'm out walking my dogs, the pootling with my doggies, or they're not mine, but they're my other children's doggies, then just talk to Bruce. Talk to your loved one. And I hope I can manage this, but to my gorgeous boy, you are darkness, you are light. You are a thousand winds that blow. You are the diamonds in the snow. You are the sunshine in the rain. When I walk the dogs, you are the swift, uplifting rush of wind. You are the birds circling in flight. You are the soft star shining bright at night. Just manage that. So I know it's difficult, but please remember your loved one is in your heart and soul forever. So I'm just taking a moment to breathe and sending virtual hugs to you all. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye for now.